Um, we'll get started. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Uh, like every Saturday, we do 1 hour either open discussion or webinar on any given topic. Today topic is open discussion on data, cloud, and AI. So I'll give a brief intro about Bharat. So Bharat has couple of patents on his name in USA. He was part of original team at Yahoo. He built Hadoop. He was also part of Netflix and other product-based companies in Bay Area. He ran his own product-based company, and then he started his second startup called Enterprise Minds. And it's been a while he is working on that startup. Today he'll talk about his experience on data, AI, and cloud. So thank you so much, Bharat, for taking time out and joining us here. So yeah, Bharat, help us with your introduction and like sort of journey you had so far.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, first of all, thanks for giving this opportunity to speak at this forum. You guys are doing phenomenal. I saw a couple of videos. Never got a chance to come and be part of it. Hopefully, I'll make it as a point next time I'll attend some of happy to help sessions. And thanks to everybody who took time to come to this forum. When Om asked me for the community speak about my experience and the journey in this particular space, so I thought about it's a community pitch than my company pitch. So this talk is predominantly get you guys curious about these emerging technologies, right? Data, cloud, and AI. Why they are so critical for next 10 to 20 years, which is what my goal is going to be. And without introducing my company, it's not fair. Yeah, I'm founder and CEO of Enterprise Minds. We are AI company. We are helping enterprises to achieve AI first vision. When we started this company, we looked at automation. Why only Google, Facebook, Amazon should have this technology, right? They have a lot of money, a lot of resources, and compute, right? If you look at small and medium businesses, it's very hard for them to automate things and apply AI. We sort of want to democratize AI and focus predominantly on business outcomes and efficiency of the organization, right? A lot of automation is going to happen if you take any human endeavor. Automation and productivity is the name of the game, right? So it is part and parcel of our journey. So we have to accept this technology and move forward. Since this is a community talk, it's very important where Enterprise Minds is headed as a company. I want to get some community angle to us actually. From day one, if you look at a lot of companies in this space, AI, where is it applied today, right? Predominantly on the ad tech, right? Sort of a division within marketing, right? From day one, and also it's been passion for us within Enterprise Minds to apply AI for social good. Very important. AI itself is, I would say, it is going to be next 100-year game. It's not about very short, and what people think about AI and where AI is today is a lot of gap is there, right? People think AI means I'm kind of a mirror image of a human trying to do some things for human. Oh, I'm a boy. It's going to take way long to reach there. But in the small automation areas where AI is outperforming human, for example, in computer vision, a couple of years back, it beat like human vision, right? You can really see things, in fact, better than human, and it can recognize patterns better than human because of the compute which AI has. Human brain is limited in that aspect. There are certain things the AI can really do well, certain things still human is predominantly a winner. And right, so so if you look at it, AI will replace human. I don't think so. I mean, it is going to be augmented intelligence. So there's a lot of noise in the industry. We have to be careful. It's going to take long way to reach there. I mean, the progress has been significant, and new things are coming in this field called neuroscience. Specifically, there is another interesting field called computational neuroscience, right, where computers and medicine are integrated. So next generation subjects are going to be like that. It's not going to be one field where you will see innovation going to come. So, for example, another field called metronics, right? It's electronics and mechanical. That's going to become very popular. Where robotics is coming. I don't know how much you guys are following in this space. A lot of innovation is happening, right? So that's what I want to talk about today with you guys. And also a little background about myself. As Om said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been in the data space since inception of big data, the term big data. That actually big data was there in certain fields, but it's all about marketing, right? In US, so they termed as big data because it crossed the traditional data storage limitations like Teradata, Netezza. There's so many data warehouses technologies was there. I was new to that field at that point. So it was termed as big data because we are talking about when we say big data, what is big data? It is anything beyond certain limit. Is there a threshold? Yes, there is a threshold. Maybe it's you can start actually truly petabytes, right? From petabytes, you can call anything above is big data. It can go to exabytes also, and Facebook, Yahoo, Google, all these companies have exabytes of data. And I was part of the initial team at Yahoo that built Hadoop, and that was eye opener for me to get into this fascinating field. I put my personal traits a little bit for this talk. I'm curious, always a learner, and I'm creative. It's also a subjective matter, right, and analytical. This is something I discovered myself. It's not that when I born I knew this, but along the journey I discovered this, which is what I'm going to talk about, which will add significant value, guys, for you to how to discover your own passion, right? And recently, I mean, I do very selectively pick community-based entrepreneurs, guide them, coach them, and mentor them. That's been my passion, just to impact society. Let me talk briefly about my journey. Hopefully, you will see some value in this. It's not just to talk about my background per se. My objective is to for you to gain something from this journey. Basically, I'm a sort of a technologist at heart, a deep techie, but at the same time, what we can impact with the technology to society, right? That's been my focus from day one, not just from data days, but prior to data. I pick very carefully where I navigate, and I pick very carefully what subjects I want to do. I honestly, I don't work for money. I work for my passion. Hopefully, one day it'll pay off big time, is I believe in truly. And I was part of Sun Microsystem. I was part of the JVM group at Sun, and that was a fascinating. It's a compiler era. A lot of languages started evolving in early or late 90s or early 2000s, right? Sun was named as dot in the .com boom. Sun innovated many technology. I am so proud. I can't even tell you guys. I mean, today what I am, is just I have to give the credit to Sun. Learned a lot of things, great engineers, lot of innovation. Only the problem with Sun was business, right? They are core engineers, right? If you take birth of Linux, it came from Solaris. If you take of cloud, it came from Sun again, right? They built a domain called network.com. Probably you guys might not even know that it didn't come out of Sun. Only it was in the research lab. And a lot of technologies like container technology. Sun Jones was number one, right? It was early 2000. I played around that technology, Sun Jones. Now it is called container, right? You guys probably know Docker container. Today you are hearing. But Jones was, I mean, before even Linux discovered it, I mean, so many advanced concepts, at least 10, 20 years ahead of their time. Sun Ray, I can keep go on. I mean, I played around at Sun like it was a playing field for me, right? As I said, technology is very interesting to me. I keep playing with new technologies. One thing I take pride of being at Sun is that is the only company on earth which does or did rather from browser to chip level, right? Everything, which is what my experience has been. And when I speak at enterprises, I mean, there's a limited knowledge, right? So that's a vast knowledge we have. We can go and rip off your source code, analyze at a processor level how the branch predictions and how right cache misses and which are happening within the processor, right? Even I call it sometimes it's called nanosecond computation. There's a Google which wrote a paper on it. So at that level, we can talk with customers and impress customers. That is, I credit back to Sun. Without that, my career would have been not there. The same reason why I got into Yahoo. At Sun, I was reporting to there's a CEO's team called Gorilla Marketing, and how events unfold in life, as Steve Jobs said, you don't know what is going to happen in future, but you will. I can guarantee you. I mean, I associate with this sentence saying that when you look back, everything is connected, right? For a reason, the journey has been 20 years, and everything is connected. Sun, we started doing this community analysis, right? Sun is a major open source propagator. Like JVM is open source. Solaris was as a proprietary, but because of the competition pressure of Linux, they had to open source it. By far the best operating system. There were jokes about Solaris where in one of the universities where they ran the Solaris server and they left off for 30 years without stopping it, right? It was still running. That kind of a robust system Solaris was, right? All the concepts which Linux borrowed from that. So we wanted to understand how community downloads JVM, right, on various operating systems and how they are using. That was the birth of data. I mean, I got curious about, as I said, I'm a, or of a curious person. So we assembled a commodity hardware at Sun. This was, I'm talking about 2006, 2007, which was the birth of Hadoop. It was still in the open source world. Nobody knew it. It just a paper was released by Google on MapReduce. And a person called Doug Cutting, I mean, he took that paper, he started writing code. It was very minimalistic, right, initially. And at that point, we decided, okay, me and another innovator, Koshike, I have great respect for that guy. If you want to know who Koshike is, he is one of the creators of Jenkins, right? He's the father of Jenkins, basically. And that guy is a great computer science grad, and he's also a great tech junkie. So we both were talking and decided, hey, let's build very scrap computers, borrow here and there from the lab, assemble and make a cluster out of it. So you'll be surprised. I mean, we got like a lot of hardware. These are old and flaky hardware. We got it, assembled like 5 or 10 computers, and installed Hadoop on it. That was a curious journey for me. And we actually scrolled all the Sunweb clicks and everything, that data we integrated and start analyzing. I mean, that data came to 20 GB in my life. Like, I mean, taking 20 GB and analyzing was not my game. And I started writing Hadoop and started asking questions. That was my starting point to venture into data space, right? All along before, like, I was a more of a programmer, software products, so many, right? I come from telecom background, so many areas I touched. But that curiosity took me into Hadoop journey. Because of that, I went to Yahoo, and it was a very prestigious group at that point because it's a post-search era. Yahoo was losing battle with Google in the search space. I mean, right? Then because of that paper, they realized, oh, this platform we should have. Yahoo was doing very haphazardly and things like that. So they actually hired Doug Cutting. With that hiring, the whole Hadoop group formed at Yahoo in early 2007 2008 timeframe, right? So that led me into, I wanted to apply there, and I got an offer into another company called Live.com, which is a visual search engine. I got into Stanford, but I was doing I'm a search major at Stanford. At that time, 2005 is a big search boom, right? Information retrieval problems. So I got into Yahoo. It was I believe, like a 5-day interview. From morning I go, I come back at the evening, writing code on the board. I mean, whatnot, right? At that time, it was very prestigious group and very, very difficult to get into Hadoop than search group at Yahoo. Search was used to be the prestigious, but when the Hadoop started, it became the base for any search engine, right? So that was a critical, I would say, journey into data. Then from there, it's all additions one after the other. From data, you have to understand insights. So I went into Netflix. I want to use Hadoop, what I built. I really want to understand data, algorithms, and things like that. So that led me to Netflix. And I saw this movement of cloud from on-prem to cloud is happening. Data is moving to cloud. That led me to previous startup, created data company, big data as a service platform. This is pre-EMR, which is a big data cluster from Amazon, and then moved to now enterprise, morely focused on AI and machine learning. The objective for me, right, when Om asked me to present this, I just thought of making you curious, right, about these emerging technologies, which I truly believe is going to be game changer. Probably you know about it. A lot of people are talking about it, but I really want to give you some taste of these three things, right? Data, cloud, and AI, and get you into this field, not just from building products, but the other side of the coin is more of analytics side, right? One side of the coin is making applications, whether you're making a web app or mobile app or AR, VR app. The other hidden side is these are called back office technologies, right? Back end technologies, completely hidden from the users. So they play a critical role in decision making and automation. So first, I want to give a basic definitions. I mean, you might have some intuitively some thoughts, but let's level set the field. Right, these three areas: data. Right, I would call collection of facts about the world around you. Right, whether you're browsing, whether you're searching, whether you are moving, every damn thing is analyzed today, right? Your mobile is tracking. You will be surprised how much of your information is one time it feels scary. That is why our motto is very, very important. We want to be an ethical organization. We want to use AI for good. Very important, right? You don't want to exploit people. You can't get at a personal level, right? Everything is tracked. You will be surprised, right? There are 40,000 parameters tracked about you as a person. I've seen this, right? There are companies who are collecting your journey, right? So very important to understand. Without you knowing, it is scary, but that's the world we are living in. You have to be careful what you do and how you are navigating this world. You have to be aware. First thing, right? To even take actions, you have to be aware what is happening around you. The browser, the mobile phone. Why Google is giving free for you Android? They track about you everything. right? Why browser is free today? They track you everything, right? Remaining are all for money, right? Commercial aspects is they control it, but they say that they don't use at a personal level, right? They use at a some ID, anonymous ID they create for you, and that ID is being tracked everywhere. So data is that very important to understand. It's about facts, about truth, right? You can't manipulate data. If you're manipulating data, then everything is screwed downstream, right? The next one is the cloud. Amazing concept. I mean, I am proud again. Sun came up with the concept of network.com, and they couldn't position it like Amazon, right? Amazon is always been a commercial company from day one. Fantastic business model. It's a kind of a notion of, if I may say so, it is an infinite scale of compute, right? You don't worry about putting 10 computers in your IT department and scaling. You're limited by your space in the data center for your company. It's something there, cloud. It's sort of a cloud, passing cloud, right? It is there. You assume it is there, and it can scale infinitely how much ever you want. That's the notion of a cloud, which is fantastic thing. Innovation is happening at a rapid pace right now because of this, right? The barrier to entry. I mean, today anybody can start a company with $500. Amazing, right? When my career was started, I mean, it is so expensive, and even I couldn't afford to buy a computer when I was doing bachelor's, right? I had to do a time sharing. Going to my college, I was so fascinated. I want to build so many things, but we are not rich kids, and you have to go to college and wait in the queue, get the computer, right? From that time to this time, I see so much change for these young millennials today. So much access is there. I mean, if they're really passionate, they can create a lot of things, next generation things. Right? So the barrier to entry, I mean, it removed by the cloud. That is a fascinating thing, isn't it? I mean, that is the game changer for me. And the next one is, so that what that is telling me, if I want to compete with Google, if I want to compete with Facebook, I can do it today. 10 years back, I can't do it, right? I need so much money to build this infrastructure. Today, a few clicks of a button, I mean, if I have a brilliant idea, I can go and execute. I can beat these guys, right? What that idea, how we execute, that's a different story. But the level field is set right now, right? To compete with Google and Facebook. That is a thought I want to leave with you guys, right? If you got fascinated, think that how can you compete with Google and Facebook? That's how we think. I mean, enterprise minds. I mean, what are things we can create? I have to challenge. If Google is coming with a great machine learning on the cloud, even I can put machine learning on the cloud. The level field is set. Now the question is how I am different than Google. What algorithms we can create different than Google, right? We can beat them. The combination of data and cloud will actually, I can take on Google in certain aspects. I can take on Facebook. Any company, right? Don't undermine yourself. I mean, you can really take on any company. It requires a great team and things like that. Let's move on to the third topic of AI. Right? It is sort of, the industry is going towards kind of modeling human cognition, basically, right? How you think, how you make decisions. Fascinating subject, right? It's very fuzzy. You can't quantify it. How your brain works, nobody knows. Why I said AI is going to be next 100-year game, just because of human decisions are so hard, right? To make and think. There are micro decisions. Every day you'll be making so many decisions. Even today, when Om sent out this flyer, you might be thinking to attend or not. That's a decision, right? So there's so many decisions you'll be making without knowing. Some are kind of second nature. Some are very impactful decisions, career move, marriage. There's so many decisions you'll be making. So AI is helping everywhere. Wherever you make a decision, there AI is. That has one kind of a misnomer term, AI. It comes sort of an automation, you can think, right, which will help you to make better decisions. Let's go a little bit on the data technologies. Very fascinating field. It is moving. I mean, last 12 years, I've seen so much changed in data. It started with the batch, then it went to in-memory computation, then now it is real time, right? All the technologies which revolve around data storage, data processing, data ingestion, data visualization, data analysis, Fascinating field. I call it data technologies. So we are very strong as a company also within Enterprise Minds. Focus. This is the foundational level, right? It has to be there. How do I do? These are future technologies I'm talking. Very, very important, guys. I mean, understanding data is the foundation for you. Okay. If you're a programmer, think about what's happening in this field. Future is robotics is coming, autonomous cars are coming, drones are coming. A lot of action is happening, right? So fast. This is a foundation for that because you are collecting a lot of information and you are making decisions, and these devices are automatically taking actions. Autonomous cars today by far is a reality in Silicon Valley. US is innovating a lot, right? So many companies, 55 companies, autonomous car companies are there today in California. So data is the foundation. Get interested in these technologies. Very fascinating field. And cloud technologies, as I said, infinite scale as a concept is great, right? You are modernizing your IT infrastructure and you're scaling out things whenever I want it. As a startup, I want to go, right, kind of amortize my cost. I take today 10 machines, tomorrow 20 machines, and as I scale, I can add on my compute and infinite compute, right? The term infinite means it's a big number, basically. You can, how much ever you can afford, you can go. So I call it utility computing, right? You, when you switch on, your fan is on, you switch off, your electricity is off, right? The same thing with the compute, it's becoming like a utility computing. That's a coin term 10 years, 20 years back. It's not, it came with the cloud technologies alone. But Sun again tossed this word utility computing. They want to make compute on demand, basically. So that's what it is, and it's a bidding platform, right? You can bid spot instances on Google or Amazon or Azure cloud. Right? So whole this data center business is dying. Right? Everything moved to this notion of many levels of abstraction on data center is called cloud. More automation on the data center, basically. And AI technology is another fascinating where you want to quantify fuzziness, I would say, right? You have some sort of a hypothesis, you think something is right, and how do you validate or quantify that is what AI is trying to address, right? Whether you want to buy something where you need a recommendation to buy that thing, right? So those kinds of technologies, very fuzzy in nature. It's not precisely like coding or deterministic. It's completely sort of non-deterministic, right? There is no correct or wrong in this, right? It is kind of 0 to 1. It's not 0 or 1. It's 0 to 1. Right? It's a binary decision making. In between, you can say 0.5. You might like my liking some product likeliness is 0.5 or 0.6. It's not exactly I like it or dislike it. A lot of things happens and you finally make a decision. I like it or not. Then you decide to buy, right? So that kind of a thinking or decisions, right, where the technology is applied is I would term as AI technologies, and we call in our company as intelligence engineering, right? We want to engineer the intelligence, basically. This is another my co-founder termed it. So I read. I mean, I used to call AI engineering, but we started calling now intelligence engineering. We're going to do a lot of things under that. So pattern recognition, again, computers are great. Humans are a little bit difficult to do. And cognitive thinking. I mean, this is where the industry is going. Can it replace AI with all human thinking? No, not really, right? Emotions. There are a lot of other things, intuition, gut. I mean, those are all human tendencies. Maybe, I mean, once we crack the secret code of how our brain works, probably that is called a word is termed in the industry called singularity, right? Remember that word, it's singularity, which they are predicting 2030 or 2040, right? Where AI will take over human thinking also. Yeah, now let's get into. I want to take you to this journey of how fascinating this field is going to be. Let's start with the human brain model, how we think, and why this field is so interesting. On the left side is more a human brain is logical thinking, right? Where you write code, you write applications, more deterministic and more mathematical. All these things are the left side, right? Very predictive in nature. And the right brain deals with unknowns, right? It's more of analytical, fuzzy, more creative, photography, art, right? Creativity, all those comes on the right side of the brain. And more analytical, right? You start thinking about things without any start or end. There is no start or end, right? You can start anywhere and you can end anywhere, right? You try to end somewhere, but you can end anywhere. That's the interesting part of it. So mostly, if you a startup entrepreneur will know what I'm talking about, right? You start with something, but that might not be the start. You pivot it. That's the word being used in startups, right? On the left side, on the other side, is more logical. You need to have you write a main function, you have methods, very deterministic, right? You if else, things like that. Even if you write 100 if else, that is still I call it deterministic. What if you don't know what if else to put it in the function is on the right side, right? It's unknown, right? It's rather dynamic in nature, not static in nature. So that is where, if you want to get into this field of machine learning, AI, artificial intelligence, and data technologies, so you have to, I mean, can anybody do data? Of course you can do, but you will be more logical, always coming from the left brain thinking. I have, to be honest, why I told that when I said the traits of mine is like creative, curious, it's more of a right brain function, right? I was a programmer, right? But as a human, my traits I have discovered. I started enjoying this field. Then I realized, okay, I am innate a creative person. Right? So people go into art knowing they are creative. It's not that born they were artists, but they discovered it, right? Their passion, photography, anything. They discovered it, they enjoyed it, they went on to the creative side of the thing. So you can transition from left brain to right brain, but you have to discover. But can everybody do that? No. Some people are super strong on the left brain. They have to stick with the programming. They have to stick with on the left side of the things, right? I don't preach everybody saying, hey, move to this field. So you have to know your personality rather, right? That's what I wanted to get at. You get to your personality, understand your personality. End of the day, you have to be happy what you do. And I enjoy being an analytical person. Here you answer things for questions on the left side. On the right side, you ask questions more, right? So that's the key difference, right? You start asking questions. You don't even know what questions to ask. So let me start it there, right? Here, somebody asked you a question. You try to answer. You solve the problem there. Here you find the problems on the right side. So that's the distinction. It's a day and night, right? These two fields. Very fascinating. It's kind of an FBA job on the right side. This is like more of a procedural job on the left side. And discovery model. This is this guy Rumsfeld, a famous person in US. He came up with this mental model of discovery, right? If you draw 4 quadrants of known, unknown, how do you write? AI and machine learning will be on the green and orange boxes. You're trying to solve for those things. Very hard. You can't do programming. That's what I'm saying. It's so fuzzy, not clear, right? You deal every day with unknowns. So startup people, founders typically love you. In the startup world, you always deal with unknowns. Every day is an unknown thing, right? So known, boring, right? You know that is there. It's not so great. You do it, right? It's mostly deterministic. Known, unknown. You know there is some unknown is there. For example, you know there is an unknown of a black hole on the space, right? You know at least there is something. So you started exploring what now you go drill 2 levels down. What is black hole and those kinds of things, right? Those kinds of problems falls on the second quadrant. And take now third quadrant, unknown, known. What do we know but we don't know about it, right? How can we explore something? Some things is there. We think human life is there in extraterrestrial objects, right? But we don't know, right? That's unknown still, right? Those kinds of problems falls under the green part. Very interesting field, right? And the last one is much more complex, super complex, right? Unknown. You don't know something is there, still there is unknown, right? This is a true discovery, right? any new element discovery, anything falls under that orange box. So these two, green and orange, are so critical. I want you to appreciate the fact of describing these things basically, right? Where do we fit in? Programming falls under first quadrant. You know you want to do this, and you know what is the outcome also, right? That's a product building basically. Not so unclear. You know, clear. You want to build a mobile app. You want to do something very, very deterministic. You know what is starting and end. You keep enhancing. That's a different thing, but it's a known thing, right? You start with something, you do it, you execute. I want to build a computer. I will build it computer, right? But known, unknown, unknown, known. These three quadrants are very, very interesting subjects for machine learning. This is another thing. I just borrowed this picture. It was floating on LinkedIn, but I thought to give you more connecting all these dots now, right? The first one, let's talk about data. I told you it's facts. You can't escape from it. Whatever you are doing, you can't reverse it, right? You travel from Mumbai to Pune, it is tracked, right? Your tickets are tracked. Your journey is tracked with mobile because your GPS coordinators are sent to Reliance or whatever, Airtel. So everything is tracked, right? Those are facts, what happened. So you can't manipulate that thing, okay? If you're manipulating, it is interesting. That's where the conspiracy theory, the last one is there. I'll go there. Second is now, okay, I collected your data. Today you traveled from Mumbai to Pune. Now let's understand what happened. Oh, you went to eat at some cafe, and that's what information. I'm now knowing you more, right? I collected your longitude, latitude. I took that data, converted into Google Places, and seen exactly where you went, right? So I color coded that information. I'm walking through the journey, right? Knowledge journey, basically, right? Then from there, I like about you, right? I see what you like, basically, right? You like, you're a coffee person. I'm getting more knowledge about that person now, right? So you're connecting those colors and making that knowledge about something. It can be a person, it can be a car, it can be anything, right? I'm just giving an example, right? You went to the knowledge of something now. Now I see, if I do this, if I exactly target when a particular, let's say Om, I'm picking a name here. My favorite person. So I'll pick Om's name here. So Om is at coffee. Om is at a station. If I target him right now with something, I know he will buy the coffee there, right? So that is kind of an insight I got from my knowledge. So you go from knowledge to insights. Those are called needle in the haystack things, right? You discovered something. So that if you repeatedly happens, sometimes it will work, sometimes it's not working is an insight, but every time it is working is a wisdom, right? It's kind of an axiom. It's going to happen, right? Earth is spinning around sun is a wisdom, basically, right? People collected data, found everything. They went through this journey from data to wisdom, right? And the last part is, if you deliberately do certain things as a pre-planned events, you navigate certain things in certain order, it is the conspiracy, right? So I don't want to, I'm not since it's a borrowed image, I put it there, but potentially it can happen, the last one. That's where our motivation is, right? Our motto is very important. We want to make sure these kinds of things is being ethical and things like that. There are a lot of things in the last quadrant. Why I still wanted to present the last conspiracy is, for example, racism, ethics, all those things are new evolving field in machine learning and robotics, basically, right? Very fascinating field. Again, another subject. What is ethical? To whether your decisions robots are making certain things, is it ethical or not? These are societal questions are there, right? Unanswered, and a lot of regulations and governance are required. Very, very important there. Right? So this one, people, for example, in US, blacks or Indians or if there is a racism, if I apply for a loan, I was like, I didn't get a loan, for example, because I'm Asian American, let's say, right? So they don't like that fact, right? So that is tapped into your data, correct? Any action the bank is taking, that data point will go into the data. Then I can detect this pattern. Hey, this kind of a gender, there is a gender bias, right? or there is a race bias is happening here. Those kinds of hard problems are there. Okay, that is again, it's more of a policy issue. A lot of governmental interference will be there and things. The other part is AI for bad, right? I mean, we are saying AI for good. The other side, for every new technology, it's not just AI, right? Any new technology, autonomous cars, is it good or bad? It's arguable, right? You now a lot of things bad people can do with autonomous car without any human. It can drive and it can hit anybody. Correct. So a lot of problems are there with every technology. So we have to have a motto. That's the reason. And we are a preacher, right? Like we go and preach this as a startup. Yeah, for good, social good. We want to spend 20% of the time in those kinds of problems too, right? Even though startup, we should be able to. Google is doing 20% for any new projects, but as a company, we want to have a policy of AI for good. What we can do with AI, collect the public data sets, social data sets, understand and provide some papers on it. So now I'll get to open forum soon. Then if you ask me where do I start my journey, so first thing, you have to be curious. This field is about curiosity. Without that, you will not enjoy, right? If you're a very logical person, you will not enjoy this field, right? It's always curiosity first. Then self-study, lot of free material, YouTube, Udemy, blogs, lot of material out there you can read. Then online courses, Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, there's so many courses, free courses are there. You can read and study. Last minus, right? So we actually taking freshers and we are coaching them, putting this mindset of curiosity, creativity, and things like that. And hard problems. Some of them are really, really hard problems we're trying to address. Okay, I will start taking. I mean, you guys can ask any questions. I'll leave the forum because I mean we have a lot of depth in this space. I hope I can answer your questions.
Yeah, sure. So anybody can unmute themselves and ask any question related to this topic. But I had one question which people have asked me like many times, that they want to make their career in AI and ML. How important is to do a master's in AI and ML?
No, it's not a mandatory thing, as I said in the last slide, right? I mean, I walked the. I knew this question is going to come, so that's the reason, right? Where do I start is very important. So it can be. I know. I mean, it can be self-taught, right? I mean, my lot of information is there on the internet. So, and you should have some background. It's not that anybody can quickly, on a flip of a coin, you will be in the analytical side of things. Um, but don't take my suggestion about the right brain, left brain thinking. It is important. You will do really great things if you're a creative person. But if you're a more logical person, you can still do data science and still, that is a more of, get into this field or earn more money kind of a thing, right? I want to see where your talents and opportunities intersect. That's where the miracles can happen, right? I want you guys to introspect yourself and see there. That's the only reason I presented that one. But to answer precisely your question about should I do masters or not required is one. But if you want to go into depth into this, you love this field, I want to create something new, algorithms and things like that, or you want to go deeper. I mean, you have from masters to PhD and even postdoc, right, in this particular field. So you will narrow your research focus and things like that. So it is not a mandatory thing. It's good to do it if you really love this field because you are hyper focused on this. Because the one thing schools will give you is the discipline, right? You have a curriculum, you'll go with a formal process. Here you have to be self motivated, right? If you want to do on your own, There are good blogs, actually, well-written blogs. Data Science from Scratch is one of the good books. They're fantastic books written, no? Very complex books. Also, some are very intuitive and basic ones are there. And the other thing I'll tell you that there's a mathematics portion of it. If I tell you that this one, I mean, you guys will really do today, right? I am actually coaching one girl. She is, I think, +2, right? She's a PUC or intermediate in India terms. Here it is 12th grader. So, I mean, she wrote a hammer spam prediction and got 98% accuracy, right? A 10th grader and 12th grader, they can do, because there are certain algorithms or basic foundational mathematics. So it's not, but mathematics is an important aspect. If you want to get into this field, you have to have a liking for math and curiosity and creativity. All those things are there. Nobody talks about it. Outside people don't know really. Data science means always they talk about data, technology, and business. That's the trifactor, three Venn diagram they'll put it. But I personally think, after going through this journey myself, it's more about curiosity and creativeness, finding insights on unknowns, right? That's discovery process is predominantly outweighs any mathematics there. You start with a question and you'll land up with a discovery, right? That kind of a model. Yeah, but mathematics, if you specifically ask me what kind of mathematics, linear algebra, then you need some sort of calculus and statistics. These three broad subjects are very important. Again, those are, you don't need great things, depth in those things, but foundational also is sufficient. I mean, those we covered in even 10th grade math, right? Basic level of statistics, basic level of calculus, basic level of linear algebra. When I say linear algebra, more of matrices and things like that, right? Matrix factorization, matrix multiplication, very simple ones. It's not complicated, actually.
So Bharat, if I was not good at math in my school, so I shouldn't pursue data science. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. Again, I said there are other factors also. A businessman can. It's all about curiosity. You're asking the right questions is what data science is about, right? It's all about questions, not about answers. So yeah, you can. Again, data science is a wrong term in my opinion. I mean, it is again. US is all about marketing. There's this words they spin it. Unfortunately, people catch on it. They'll make it a very big thing. You have to have see some noise on that side. But yeah, not necessarily you should have mathematics, but it's definitely good to have, right? If you want to make impact in data science, really, you have to have mathematics, right? You cannot otherwise improve your decisions. If you don't know how the engine is working, then how you will understand, right? That's the core. Any algorithm, that's the core of it.
Got it.
Today, a lot of people, even doctors, they're supposed to know statistics, right? Really, how many doctors are really using statistics? Then can you say, I can't become a doctor? A doctor is a doctor, right? He's supposed to know statistics, because they will be giving a drug. That is again a data science problem. It's called randomized clinical trials, where these pharma companies give some new treatment to a patient, and you divide that into control group and experimental group, and there you apply statistics. You don't know that, right? You'll be surprised. You go to a doctor, they'll give a medicine. Doctor is testing you all there, right there, right? Doctor is testing you whether this new drug is effective on you, right? We are unfortunately guinea pigs in the medical field.
Right, right.
It's the same question, right? The same analogy. Can I become a data science without math, or can I become a doctor without statistics? Are very similar in nature, right? Doctors are supposed to know and make decisions based on statistics, right? Very, very important. But how many people really ask that question? Right?
Got it.
Some people, then they associate with experience end of the day. Right?
Yes. Anybody has any question? Guys, please ask. I mean, it's a great opportunity to interact with Bharat and ask any questions you guys have related to this topic. If you guys want to know anything related to AI data or cloud.
Hi Bharat, this is Ismail. Actually, I have a question for you. I have been doing a job as a front end developer. So how could I extend my knowledge to AI, which could be related to my day to day life as a front end engineer, as well as I can extend it to AI, and not switching completely from front end to AI. So how do you recommend? Is there any way, or there is no way that we have to completely switch?
No, very good question, Ismail. And so AI is a small tool, right? Small tool. You can apply it anywhere in your thinking, in the front end, in the back end, in the mobile, in the car, in the plane. AI is a small microdation, right, where you build those models, and in fact, you have great opportunity, right, for innovation. You can apply models right in the browser, right? There are now JavaScript-based machine learning, right? You can directly apply into the browser itself. So every product decision or some action needs to be taken right there. So you have great opportunity, and everybody. I mean, AI will be injected everywhere, basically. Right, that's the answer for you. And UI specifically, there is a great opportunity, whether it's a mobile application or a browser-based application. You can take a look at like TensorFlow.js. I mean, that's all browser-based, right? There are lot more things are happening in that space. You don't send a REST API call to backend to get an answer, right? You can directly embed that answer directly into the bug. That's the beauty of AI. You can take that, you can embed any place you want.
Okay, got you. Thanks.
Yeah, you can learn front end side and machine learning and apply for UI technologies. Yeah.
Bharat, what if I'm not in IT, I'm in marketing or some other field, and I am kind of curious to learn this AI? Like
By
how
the way, today the
yeah.
true value of AI is happening in one field only, right? It's marketing,
Yeah.
understanding deeply customers, right? What, as I said, like what Om likes, for example, or what Bharat likes, right? They want to understand. That's the data science problem because we don't know, right? The nirvana for any machine learning is what customer wants, right? Very fuzzy. Customers don't know what they want. So when you don't know what you want, that those are the kind of problems which will fall under machine learning. If I know what I want, then I can put if-else statements. Correct. If I don't know what I want, then you have to be fuzzy. It's a discovery process. That's where AI and machine learning is going to come in. And number one use case is marketing because it's a creative field. Again, see that the terminology I use, right? Very specifically, I chose. It's not just to boost my personality to you. The reason I chose those words, very, 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 very foundational for on the machine learning side, right? The curiosity, creativity, right? Those kind of things are very important. Marketing is a very creative field.
Right, right.
So,
Hey, Bharat.
Bharat, I've got a question here. Okay.
Yes.
I come from the field of digital marketing. I've been in the industry for more than 6 years now. As you rightly mentioned, yes, AI, a lot of our marketing, the things we do in the field of marketing are now AI driven because when we look at the different approaches that we have followed over the years in the industry, we realize that AI is more ROI focused and it yields better results.
Yes.
It's statistically proven as well. You talk about you look at all the bigger major industry brands, they have been, you know, it also goes down to the fact that we have moved from more macro trend perspective to a more micro trends now, where mass personalization and customization is the go-to. I just wanted to understand from you that if you could provide any such case study in the field of where marketing and AI came together to provide a great result. Do you have any such case study in your mind that you think would be worth referring as an
Yeah.
application?
Yeah. No, we have done a lot actually in marketing. I mean, I have personally because I'm a serial entrepreneur, like two companies, right? I mean, we helped so many companies in the marketing space. I'll start with Walmart, a division called Voodoo. where customer subscription, right? I'll start from there. When attrition will happen is a prediction, right? It's marketing use case. Then website, when a visitor, you might appreciate. May I know your good name, please?
Nikhil Bharath.
Nikhil, okay. Nikhil, another one very interesting one is when a customer visitor, right? You know the funnel, marketing funnel, basically strangers to visitors to leads to customers to advocates, right? That's the marketing funnel.
Correct.
So when a visitor comes, you predict whether that guy will buy or not. For example, right? We call it whale or fish. So that is a great use case. And you by now you know. I think if you're a marketing person, A/B testing is a phenomenal success in that
Yes, we
area.
do. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
you chase this color or that color, this message, that message. So many decisions, micro decisions, right?
Correct. Correct.
You can do, and there are other, I mean, better approaches than A/B testing. I mean, that's, I mean, you can ping us if you want to know. Check with Om, and we can have a call on that. So there are better algorithms. There are problems with A/B testing. It's a statistical approach, but there are machine learning based approaches also in that field, which are newly evolving. Right? And many customer churn, customer intelligence platform which we built for Walmart, omni-channel where customers come from. If I come from mobile, if I come from website, if I come from a store, how do you make sure all this referring to, let's say, Bharath, right? It's called omni-channel in marketing, retail, right? There's so
Correct.
many use cases we have done in this space. If you have, I mean, a specific problem you have in mind, and if you want to know, we can talk about it. But yeah, on the marketing, it's a great use case, customer journey, attrition rate, predictions. There's so many problems are there. You apply for every problem, machine learning basically to understand deeper.
All right. All right. Thanks, Bharath. We'll definitely connect later on. You, me, and Om can connect later.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So, Bharat, I think we're already over 10. So, maybe if somebody has any question, can ask, else we'll kind of conclude this session. Thank you.
Hey, hi, Divya here.
Yeah.
So, Bharat, it's been great listening to you talk. The amount of experience you have is just mind blowing, and to see your career, how it's gone through the years, and where you've moved to. My question is basically around ethics, right? That these days is in talk, right? We spoke about something along the lines of targeted ads, right? Using the data that your phone is sending out and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you talk about handling data ethically, how does that business model actually scale? I mean, how does that lead to profitability? How does that work?
Yeah, yeah. See, again, there is a fine balance, right? It's a great question, and that's where the industry is spending right now a lot of time. So, is it? It's also sort of a personality question, right? You want to go for to on the profit side and leave out human aspects and do it, or you want to have a balanced approach, or you want to have only ethical approach, right? If you are only ethical and do anything, so you cannot build a business. That is right. But
Mm.
if you have a balanced approach, having checks on the ethics and having known on the other side profitability, it can be done. A lot of companies are doing it. I spent a lot of time talking to IIT professors. So we have another angle in Enterprise Minds where we collaborate with researchers, right? MIT professors and IIT professors. So I told them about this AI for good. So ethics is one of the core tenets of that side. And a lot of problems came up, like in Delhi, like the pollution related to people and domestic violence. One of the professors was a female IIT, and she was talking about collecting domestic violence on women. Right? So it's a very fascinating and broad areas in ethics. I gave you two examples on ethics, right? One is race bias and gender bias, right? We should not, whether male or female, it should be equal opportunity for both, right? We have to walk the talk, and unfortunately, it is not. So in California, there's a first law passed in US now. Women should be 30% should be on the board of directors of a company, right? Great decision, right? Women needs to given opportunities on that side. But how many companies do you see that is
To actually do that.
right? These are all now changing. Right? Wherever the problems are there, people are going and discovering. Yes, you can't be only profitable and then only here the white guys given opportunities and blacks and Mexicans, Indians not given opportunities. So it has to be everybody should be treated equally. So those are the ethics concepts, right? There are many things are many tenets are there in ethics basically. Yeah. So you have to, the short answer is you have to have a fine balance, right? You have to have fine balance, do what we are doing and make sure there is no conspiracy underneath. But that's the reason I put that last one, right? It's a plan, only this type of people only I should take care of, then it's a
Target,
conspiracy.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bharat.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, the one example could be I don't know if you know the browser called Brave, which is built by the person who actually built JavaScript. There, you kind of the browser will not collect any of your data without your consent. So, and even it will not show any ad. So, one of the example could be that.
So
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
that is correct. Brave, I have used it, but the thing is, right? I used Tor, I used Brave, usual Google incognito mode. The thing is, how do you trust? Right? End of the day, how do you trust? How do
Correct.
you trust that one? Right? They say something, but Google also says, but they are tracking you everywhere. No, they say no evil, right? Their motto is do no evil, but they are hyper targeted, no?
True.
So yeah, what I'm saying is whatever others say, we still have to be cautious about our actions, right? I think the best way I have realized recently, I mean, one hacker tried to attack my computer because they attack the small businesses, right? See, every side, for me, that's an interesting problem. Cybersecurity is another area. AI is going to make a innovative areas. Again,